Now I'd like you to watch a video of an entire therapy session. The client is Mary. You'll remember that she has avoidant personality disorder. The session takes place early in treatment. Hi Mary, how you doing?
I'm okay.
So let me just take a look at the depression inventory. Thanks for adding it up. So it looks like it was a 14 this week. And that's about the same as it was last week. And the anxiety was 18, and that's a little higher than last week. Does it feel like you're a little bit more anxious?
Yeah.
A little bit. So, Mary, what's important that happened between last session and this session that I should know?
There was something with my roommate.
So is that something we should put on the agenda?
Yeah.
So, roommate. Anything positive happened between last session and this session?
My cousin did call,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a nice talk for a little bit.
Oh, that's good. Anything else important that I should know, either positive or negative?
There was also an incident at my job.
Mm-hmm. So is that something that goes on the agenda too?
Yes.
Okay. So how about if we set the agenda now? Mm-hmm. So we have your roommate, we have your job. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that's more important than those two?
Not anything more important, no.
Or just as important?
Oh, no.
So if we only had time to talk about one of these problems, which one would you rather talk about?
My roommate.
Okay. And then should we definitely leave time to talk about your job, or is it okay if we don't talk about it if we run out of time?
It's okay if we have to save it.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. So how about if we talk about your action plan? You're looking a little anxious. Are you feeling a little anxious?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, what's going through your mind?
I can't tell you.
Well, that's fine. You absolutely don't have to tell me. But can you tell me what you're afraid would happen if you tell me?
I'm afraid that you won't want to see me anymore.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Judy won't want to see me anymore.
Right.
And how much do you believe that?
About 100%.
And did you say that makes you feel anxious?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, interesting idea that I won't want to see you anymore. What evidence do you have that I won't want to see you anymore?
I don't know. I don't know.
You just get a feeling that I won't want to see you anymore?
Yeah.
Is there any evidence on the other side that maybe I will want to keep seeing you?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. And what makes you think that I might want to keep seeing you?
I don't know, maybe just because we've been seeing each other.
Mm-hmm. Right, so this is our third session.
Yeah.
Do you get the sense that I want to help you, or that doesn't really matter to me? Am I more neutral? Or do you get the sense that I don't want to work with you?
I don't know, maybe neutral.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder whether you ever see me smiling at you here in the session?
Yeah, sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Do you see me working hard to understand how things are for you?
Yes.
And how about when I say at the end of sessions, I'm glad you came in today? Might that be evidence that I might want to keep seeing you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if the worst happens and I don't want to keep seeing you, what could you do?
I mean, I guess I'd either have to just not see anybody, or I guess try to find somebody else.
Right. You could always see another therapist. But that's only the worst that could happen. What's the best that could happen?
You would keep seeing me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder whether that might be the most realistic. I wonder whether the best might be that you tell me something that would make me care about you even more and be even more motivated to help you. You think that might be the best?
It could be.
And then the most realistic, what do you think? That I won't want to see you, or I will want to see you?
I guess.
Not really sure.
No.
Yeah. What's the effect, Mary, of telling yourself over and over again that I won't want to see you anymore?
I don't know. It's what I feel.
Mm-hmm. And how does it make you feel?
Not good.
Mm. And what if you thought, well, I guess the most realistic thing is that Judy might want to see me? Then how would you feel?
Probably better.
And let me ask you this. If your cousin were in this situation and she had done something that she thought would mean her therapist wouldn't want to see her anymore, what would you tell her?
Oh, her? I would tell her, just go, just do it and see. You never know.
That's good. Might that apply to you?
It might.
So would you like to tell me now? You don't have to.
I think I might.
Okay, but before you tell me, how are you going to know what my reaction is?
Well, I guess if you keep, talking to me and smiling when you talk to me and like listening to me, then you won't stop seeing me.
Exactly. And what do you think, how do you think I would look if it comes true that I don't want to see anymore? What's my face going to look like?
Disappointed.
Right. And what's my body language going to be like? Am I going to be leaning forward and hanging on every word?
No, you probably back away from me.
Yeah, exactly. Back away from you, look disappointed. So you can actually tell how I'm going to react. Right, I would sit back, my face would look really disappointed. So how much now do you believe that you will be able to tell what my real reaction is?
Maybe 25%.
So not so much.
No.
Yeah. And why is it that you think that I won't show my true reaction?
Because this is like what you do. You're a professional. You're not supposed to like let it come out on your face what you're thinking.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I actually believe the opposite, that therapists need to be really genuine in their feelings. Now, have you felt like my emotions have just been the same for these couple of sessions I've seen you already? Do I always put on kind of a professional face, or are there times when you've told me some difficult things, like about your mom, where did I look more concerned?
You seemed pretty authentic so far.
And how about when you told me about your cousin today? Did I look happy for you?
You did.
Yeah. In fact, I feel like if I'm not honest with my clients, then I'm really not doing a good job. I think clients have to believe me, or I really can't help them very much. Okay.
So I know that I was supposed to read through my therapy,
My reaction, right?
through my therapy notes every day,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't get to do it every day.
Oh, all right. Now, how are you going to know what I was really thinking?
Well, I guess just judging off of your body language.
How about just asking me?
What were you really thinking?
Okay, so I was thinking a couple of things. One is, I was just feeling honored that you trusted me enough to tell me. The second thing is, it kind of solved the mystery for me, because I know that you have a fear that people are going to judge you negatively and disapprove of you. And so I thought, okay, here we have it, right here in front of us. And then the third thing I was thinking was, wow, Mary, you do more homework than most of my clients. So I felt honored, I felt glad that you told me, and kind of my curiosity got, I was no longer curious. I really think I understood that. So how much do you believe me when I say that was my true reaction?
More than 25% now. Maybe 60%.
60%. Hey, that's great. I'll take that. And Mary, you know what I think we should do is, as our sessions progress, I'm going to keep asking you how much you trust that I'm really telling you what I feel and what I'm thinking, and we'll see if it goes up.
Okay.
Is that all right? Okay. So let's just talk for a moment about the therapy notes. How often did you read them? Or were you not able to read them at all?
I just forgot over the weekend.
Oh, so you read them, what, 4 or 5 days?
Yeah, Monday to Friday, 5 days.
And 2 days you didn't?
Right.
That's not very much. So I wonder whether this week, in terms of your therapy notes, maybe we should have a range.
Okay.
And you know what? Come to think of it, it's probably my fault. I should have set a range at the beginning. So what do we say, maybe 3 to 7 times a week?
Okay.
So if you do 3 times, that's completely fine.
Okay.
You want to write that down?
Yes.
Okay. So was that hard to tell me?
At first, it felt really hard, but once I said it got better.
Excellent. Do you think you could remember that for the future too, when you have hard things to tell me, that it seemed to work out pretty well this time?
I can try.
Maybe it'll work out pretty well next time. Well, is it okay if this comes up again, if I remind you, hey, remember when you were afraid to tell me about the action plan?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. All right, should we talk about your roommate?
Okay.
So tell me what's going on there.
Jane, she always leaves her dirty dishes in the sink, and they'll just stay.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yes. And I would always like clean up my dishes, wash them, load the dishwasher, but she just doesn't do that, and I get really upset that I have to do it, because if I don't do it, then it doesn't get done, and it's not clean.
And did you think about talking to her about this?
I thought about it.
Mm-hmm. And what went through your mind when you were thinking about it?
That I'd cause a fight, or she would yell, or just be mad really at me for saying something. So I just don't.
And so, what evidence do you have that if you say this, that there will be a fight, she'll yell, she'll be mad? Has she done that before?
I've seen her get upset with other people,
Uh-huh.
and I just don't want that at all
Uh-huh.
to happen to me. So I don't say anything.
Right. And do you know what she gets mad at other people for? Is it for something like cleaning up the dishes?
I don't know, like specifically what what she gets really mad about. But the times that I've seen her get upset, really intense.
And whom does she get upset with?
Her other friends, or her sister. I think once she was really upset with like one of her parents, and I could hear them yelling like in the phone.
And so, is she still mad at her parents and her sister and her friends? Or has she had some better conversations with them since then?
I think some of it has passed. And they've gotten over it.
So it doesn't last forever?
No.
So is it possible that if you told her this and she got mad, that she'd get over it too?
She might.
Do you have any evidence that she might?
Well, she made up with her other friend that she was mad at.
So she might make up with you too. Do you think she wants a lot of attention with you?
No, not particularly, no.
Let me ask you, is she unreasonable about a lot of things? Because leaving dishes in the sink is unreasonable. Is she unreasonable about a lot of things that have to do with you or the apartment?
No, I feel like that's my only issue in regards to like our apartment, our relationship is just the dishes right now.
And are there any good parts to your relationship?
Sometimes we'll like watch something funny on TV.
So you share that? Do
Yeah.
you do anything else together?
Sometimes we'll have like cleaning days.
Uh-huh.
And we'll play music,
Nice.
and she'll clean her room, I'll clean my room, but we'll just kind of like blast the music, and that's kind of like a thing we kind of do together. We pick a day.
And is her attitude toward you usually pretty negative, or is she neutral or a little positive?
No, it's not negative. It's not negative.
Yeah. So if the worst happens and you talk to her about the dishes and she got mad, what could you do?
I don't know. I don't know what I would do.
Is there something you can say to her?
Maybe. I don't know what I would say to her if she got mad.
Maybe you could say something like, I'm sorry you're mad about this, but it is a problem. Maybe we could talk about it another time. You think you could say something like that to her?
I could try.
And she might still be mad, but do you think she'll stay mad with you?
No.
So that's the worst that would happen, is she'll get mad. You could say you're sorry that she's mad and put it off to talk about another time. And she might stay mad for a little while, but then chances are it would diminish. She wouldn't stay that mad because she doesn't stay mad at her sister and her friends. Is that right?
Right.
Though she sounds like can be pretty angry at her parents, but I think that's a whole different kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the worst that could happen. So what's the best that could happen?
I guess she just would probably say, I'm sorry. Maybe just be more mindful of like leaving her dishes out.
Yeah. Maybe she would say, I'm really sorry. I'm going to go clean up my dishes now, and I'll never do it again. You think that might be the best?
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. So what do you think is the most realistic?
Ooh. Maybe she'll apologize. I think that might happen.
Mm-hmm. Great. And what's the effect of telling yourself, oh no, she might get mad, she'll yell at me, she'll stay mad at me?
It just makes me afraid.
Exactly. It makes you avoid talking to her. And what could be the effect if you change your thinking and you realize that probably the most realistic thing is that she'll say she's sorry?
It wouldn't, the thought of being afraid wouldn't upset me as much. I'd just say something to her. I wouldn't have to think about it so much.
Right. And if your cousin were in this situation and she had this thought about her roommate, what would you say to her?
I would say, just tell her, clean her dishes up. It's not a big deal.
Good. So what do you want to do about this?
I mean, I think I should just do what I would tell my cousin to do and talk to her about the dishes and see what happens. At least there's, like, worrying about it right now isn't helping because I don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Sure. So what do you want to do about this?
Well, I guess I need to start thinking about talking to her. Just wait and see what's going to happen.
Excellent. You're really brave if you can do that. So, might you have some thoughts, though, that would get in the way of your doing it?
Yeah, definitely.
What would those thoughts be?
Just those same thoughts of she's going to get mad, she's going to yell at you, she might move out.
Oh, so that's another fear you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you like to be able to say back to yourself if you have those thoughts?
I just would like to be able to calm myself down. Just tell myself, just don't worry about that right now.
That's excellent. And do you want to remind yourself it'll probably blow over?
Yeah.
If it even happens.
Right.
Right? So do you want to write that down? So, you know, one of your goals is to be able to be more social, to get along more with people, to stop avoiding as much as you're doing. If you were able to do this with your roommate, would that be a step in the right direction?
Yes, I think so.
So, you want to write down something about that?
Okay.
What are you going to write?
I think it's going to say, step 1, talk to Jane.
And how about if you put down why?
Because it will help me be more social.
Exactly. I think this is a really important step. You know, Mary, I also think you need to view this as an experiment.
Okay.
We don't really know how it's going to turn out, and we can't know until you do it. But it sounds to me as if it could be unpleasant, but the stakes probably aren't that high. Do you think she would get so mad over this that she would move out?
No, not over the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I wonder whether you would have to really be on her case every day and make it really unpleasant for her before she'd kind of get up the energy even to move out. You think that might be right?
Probably.
Yeah. And it's possible she'll be mad. On the other hand, she seemed like kind of a reasonable person.
Yes.
And she's not gotten upset with you before, is that right?
Oh, no.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think there were ever any chances that she could have gotten mad at you?
I think so.
Like, were you ever late when you were supposed to, you know, come home and clean up together or anything like that?
Oh, one time I did forget to record one of the shows while she was out.
And how did she react? Was she terribly disappointed and mad?
No, she just said we were going to watch it on the computer.
Oh, okay. So we have some more evidence that maybe she's not the kind of person who will just fly off the handle for something like dishes. You want to write something down about that?
Yeah. Just right that she wasn't mad about the DVR.
Mm-hmm. So, Mary, this is a really hard action plan item for you, right?
Yeah.
And if you can do it, that's great. And if she has a negative reaction, what are you going to say to yourself? I think you wrote down something about it.
If she has a negative reaction, then I can just tell her that I'm sorry that she's upset. Maybe we can talk about this maybe later.
Exactly. And I think I don't remember if you wrote it down, but I think you did, and this will probably blow over,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, she may have a neutral reaction,
Mm-hmm.
or she could even have a positive reaction. She might even be apologetic. So we don't know how it will turn out, but if it doesn't turn out well, you know what you can say.
Right.
So if you do it, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do it, it will mean that your thoughts have been pretty intense and have
Okay.
gotten in your way. So if you can't do it, or if you don't do it, can you just keep track of what you were thinking? And then we can talk more about the thoughts. I don't know if they'll be the same as you've had before or different thoughts, but we can talk about them next time you come in.
Okay, so if I don't talk to her, just write down what I was thinking.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right? And then all it'll mean is that I didn't prepare you well enough.
Okay.
All right? Okay, so anything more on that, or should we talk about your job?
No, we can keep going.
Okay, so you said there was an incident at work?
I just felt like my boss was criticizing me, and just was not. He just was not. I didn't feel like he was being very nice and really critical.
So he criticized you, he wasn't nice, he was very critical. What did he actually say to you?
He was just trying to tell me that I need to be different when I answer the phone. That people can't really hear me, or I need to be like I need to act like I know what's going on when people ask me questions over the phone.
Oh, so he wants you to be more confident.
I guess so. I guess that's what he meant.
Yeah. And Did he yell at you? Did he say, I can't believe how unconfident you sound?
No, he pulled me off to the side by myself to talk to me. But there were other people around, so they saw him like single me out
Right.
to talk to me.
Right. And what was his tone of voice and what was his body language like? Did he look really angry at you?
No, he didn't look angry. He just seemed like he was almost tired when he was talking to me.
I see. So there wasn't a lot of energy around it. Doesn't sound like he was really aroused and mad at this.
No, it just seemed like he was almost like disappointed or like, because he was saying, you know, I told you before. Like he didn't want to remind me.
So when you were in school, did a teacher ever correct you?
Yes.
And did your teacher ever have kind of the same tone of voice? Or say, I'm telling you again?
Yeah, when I was a kid, it happened.
And then do you remember what teacher it was or what subject it was?
I think it was English. My English teacher.
A man or a woman?
It was a woman.
Okay, so she corrected you. She had similar kind of tone of voice. Was she mad at you the next day?
No.
Did that blow over?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so your boss criticized you. He wasn't nice. It seemed like he was pretty critical. What went through your mind?
I just felt like he thought I was stupid.
Oh, okay. He thinks I'm stupid. Was there something you were afraid would happen?
I don't want to lose my job.
Okay, so you had the thought I might lose my job. Anything else?
I just felt like everybody knew that I was in trouble.
Everybody knows I'm in trouble. Anything else?
I just was frustrated.
What thought made you feel frustrated?
I know the answers to the questions.
So you knew what you should be doing?
Right.
So I know what I should be doing. Any other thoughts along that line?
That's pretty.
That was kind of it?
Yeah.
So when you had the thought, he thinks I'm stupid, how did that thought make you feel?
Horrible.
Do you feel sad? Do you feel angry? Do you feel anxious?
More sad.
So you felt really sad. And I might lose my job. How did that thought make you feel?
I was terrified.
And everyone knows I'm in trouble.
Embarrassed.
So you felt embarrassed. And you said, I know what I should be doing, and you felt frustrated. Frustrated with yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. Could we take a look at some of these thoughts? You know how we talked about last week that sometimes your thoughts are 100% true, and then we have to do some problem solving. Sometimes they're 0% true, and sometimes it's someplace in the middle.
Okay.
So he thinks I'm stupid. So it sounds like he thought you were not confident. But was there something he said that makes you think that he thought you were stupid?
Just the way he was, like, the way he was talking, he just like, felt like he was irritated that he was talking to me again, like, I shouldn't have to tell you this again.
Right, so he was probably irritated, but I wonder whether he thought you were stupid. I wonder if he thought you were stupid, whether he would be telling you exactly the words you should say on the phone. Or maybe he did do that.
He didn't say exactly what I should say on the phone. He just was trying to remind me to speak up and, you know, stop like second guessing everything, like double checking everything. Because I would have people on hold too long.
I see. And so is that evidence that he thinks you're stupid, or evidence that he wants you to be more confident?
Probably more confident.
Sounds that way. And how about this thought, I might lose my job? Did he say anything in that line, like, you know, you really got to do this or else?
No, he didn't say that. He just, the way he was talking just made me feel like he might ask me to leave.
So he must have seemed really fed up with you.
Yeah.
Did he seem that way?
He seemed like oh, you know.
Oh, I wish I didn't have to say this to her again.
Right.
Yeah. Are there any good things that you do at work? Do you usually get the cash register right?
Yeah, my drawer's never short or over.
And do you think he appreciates that?
Yeah.
And I know one of the things that you do is you tidy up around the store sometimes. Do you think you do a good job of that?
Yeah.
Do you think he appreciates that? And are you usually reliable? Are you on time for work? Or do you miss a whole lot of days of work?
No, I don't miss. I'm on time.
So do you think he appreciates your reliability? So the question is he the unreasonable kind of person who sees that an employee has a weakness that he would like to correct, but he also can see the good parts of the employee?
Yeah, I think that's right.
So is that evidence that you might lose your job, or evidence against losing your job?
Maybe against losing my job.
Sounds that way if he's a reasonable person.
Yeah.
And you did say he sounded really tired and it was the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had the thought, everybody knows I'm in trouble. So what was the worst part about that?
Everybody was there. Everybody saw me get singled out. And I felt like they were probably talking. Like, it just, you know how in school when you get in trouble, everyone goes, ooh,
Yeah.
like that's kind of what it felt.
Oh, I see. So are your coworkers kind of immature like kids are in school? More middle school, I think, than high school, isn't it?
Yeah.
So sometimes they're kind of
Sometimes,
childish,
yeah.
but not all the time.
Not all the time, no. They gossip a little bit.
I see.
So I just assumed since I got pulled out, they were going to be talking about me.
Right. Does he ever pull other people out to talk to them?
Yes, sometimes.
And does everybody snicker about that and talk about that?
There may be like a comment here or there. Someone who's always late, they get pulled back.
Right.
Someone whose drawer is always short or over, they get pulled back.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of like that comment like, see? Or it was coming sooner or later, or something like that.
And when they are talking about the person who got pulled out, do you think they continue to talk about that for the rest of the day and the next day and the day after that and the day after that?
Oh, no, it doesn't sound like that.
So is it possible that it could just blow over the way that if Jane gets mad, might blow over with her too?
It's possible.
So the worst that would happen, I guess, is that you would lose your job, right?
Yes.
And that people would snicker at you for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
right? But that's just the worst. If you did lose your job, could you think you could get another one?
Probably.
I would think so. You sound like you have a lot of skills. You're reliable. Your cash drawer is always right. You're helpful around the place. You know how to clean up, make things look nice. So it sounds like you have some skills there. And everybody knows I'm in trouble. Sounds like the worst would be that they might be critical of you
Yeah.
for that day. And how could you cope with that if that happened?
I don't know. I guess just wait until it passes.
Yeah. And do you think it would help to remind yourself that it'll probably blow over? They probably won't talk about it the next day or maybe ever again?
That would help.
It's good. So, what did we just talk about that you think might be important for you to remember?
Well, that even if like the worst were to happen, that there's still ways that I can kind of get through it. But I guess maybe the worst thing that could happen is probably just as possible as the best thing. So I just have to remind myself of that.
Did we even talk about the best thing? I think I forgot to do that.
Not for the job.
Not for the job. So what's the best thing that could happen out of the fact that he criticized you?
Maybe he will offer to help me remember, like when I'm on the phone, like maybe some tips.
I wonder if you could remind yourself. You know, one thing that I suggest that people do when they have to remind themselves of something periodically is I ask them to, if they're wearing a watch, to move it to their other hand, although these days people usually don't have watches. But do you have a bracelet or something that you could wear on the hand that you usually don't wear it on?
Yeah, I have a bracelet.
Yeah. And then every time it like looks unfamiliar or feels unfamiliar to you, you can say, oh yeah, this means I have to,
Oh, I see.
you know, talk louder on the phone. I have to be quicker on the phone.
Yeah, I
Would
could
you like
do
to
that.
try that?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to write down some of these things? I think you said if the worst happens, I have a plan for what to do.
I have a plan if the worst happens.
Great. And I think you said, but the best is maybe just as likely?
It's just as likely as the worst.
And what is that? That'll blow over?
Yeah, that it won't matter the next day.
Right. Do you want to write that down too? And how about this idea I might lose my job? What do you want to remember about that?
Just that I have a lot of like good credit with my boss.
That's important.
So he probably won't like fire me for one thing.
Right. And if he did, how would you cope?
Just try to think about my skill set and start looking for another job.
Exactly. So you want to write down something about that?
Yeah. I still have good skills.
Yeah. Good. That's a very good point. You're not going to lose your skills. And in fact, wasn't one of your goals to improve how to talk to people?
Yeah.
So maybe it's something you and I can work on. so that you can get better on the phone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put down in my notes.
Okay.
And so this is what I'm going to do. Next week I'm going to ask you, do you want to do some role playing about talking on the phone?
Okay.
All right? And I might have some hints to give you, so you don't have to figure it out all by yourself.
Okay.
Okay. And how about everybody knows I'm in trouble? What would you like to remember about that?
Well, I guess even if they know I'm in trouble, I won't necessarily, it won't be something that will be every day.
Yeah, great. And in fact, that other people have made mistakes
Yeah.
and it's blown over for them?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody makes mistakes.
exactly.
They don't get fired.
Exactly. So we're almost out of time, but I wanted to just quickly address this other thought. I know what I should be doing, right?
Yeah.
And that's true. You do know what you should be doing, but I think it's all of these thoughts that get in your way. Like, if I talk up on the phone, if I talk more loudly on the phone, if I don't double check
Yeah.
what's going on, do you predict that something bad will happen?
Yeah, if I give the wrong answer, then the person on the phone will get mad if I give them the wrong information.
Exactly. So I think you do know what to do, but you and I have to work on the thoughts that get in the way.
Yeah.
All right? Okay, so what's something you're going to take away from this session?
Well, I have my action plan.
How likely are you, by the way, to read these therapy notes every day?
I'm definitely
No,
gonna.
I'm sorry, not every day, right?
The
We've
3 to
changed that.
7.
3 to 7. How likely are you to read it at least 3 times this week?
Yeah, I can do definitely at least 3 times.
And talking to Jane, should we say you're definitely going to do it, or you want to make that optional? What do you want to do?
I'm definitely gonna try.
Okay, great. And then the action plan, do we have an action plan about work? No, it's just in the therapy notes,
yeah,
right?
just a conversation. Yeah.
Right, and we already talked about how you'll try to read those notes 3 times a week.
Right, and we'll just try to add the role play, I guess, into our sessions.
Right. So we can go over how you can be more effective, since that seems to be one of your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're taking away from this session that it's important to do the action plan, I guess.
Yes.
Are you also taking away that I don't get mad when people make mistakes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. How much do you believe that now? That if you make a mistake or you don't do your homework or you say something I don't like, that I'm not going to want to treat you anymore?
98%.
So you think that's true, that I won't want to see you anymore?
No, I think that
Oh, the other way.
the other way, yeah.
Wow. So
Sorry.
that really changed.
Yeah.
Good for you. What'd you think of the session? Was there anything that bothered you?
No, it was helpful. It was like difficult for me to talk about some of this stuff.
So how about if we both give you lots of credit for talking about difficult things?
Okay.
Did you? It sounds like you had the thought, I can't talk about not having done all the homework, right?
Right.
And did that turn out to be true?
No, I was able to talk
You
about
were
it.
able to. Isn't that great? So it's just another example of just because you think something doesn't necessarily mean it's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to do differently next session?
Not that I can think of right now. No.
So I think you did great, but I have a request for you.
Okay.
If you ever get nervous about me again, could you tell me that you're nervous? Now, you don't have to tell me why you're nervous.
Okay.
Do you think you could just say, Judy, I'm nervous, but I'm not ready to tell you, or something like that?
Yeah.
You really think so?
Yeah, I could say that.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. Same time next week?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Here's a reflection question. What did you learn from the session? What questions do you have?